Yes, my people, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Just K, and this is just my opinion. So, over the weekend, Khamzat Chimaev has obviously whooped Dricus du Plessis' ass in UFC 319 to become the middleweight champion of the world. Now, look, was it the most entertaining fight? If you're into striking, no. But if you're an MMA fan, you learnt a lot. Me personally, I learnt a lot watching that fight. And one of the main things is that obviously we was all saying that Dricus is, everyone says he's an awkward fighter, he's tough, he's durable, he's hard to figure out because he's off the cuff, he doesn't really know what he's going to do next. But one thing we realized is that when it comes down to wrestling, when it comes down to high level wrestling, if you haven't got the skills and the ability to defend, you're basically becoming a ragdoll. I don't care how durable and how tough you are becoming a ragdoll. And even though Dricus, he does have pretty good ground game, to be fair. His jiu-jitsu is pretty good. But it showed that he's so used to leaning on his physicality, I believe, that when it came to the skill level, it just wasn't there. He didn't have the answers to get off the floor. And everybody's saying that now Khamzat is the champion, we're going to have just boring fights, and Khamzat's not going to be the same level as the other champions. It's just going to be like I watched MMA Guru saying it's just going to be basically a guy just shooting for the takedown, and that's what we're going to get. Just a guy that just wrestles to keep the belt. Look, it's bullshit. It's bullshit because if you go back to when Khamzat first popped up on the scene, first fought in the UFC, and then like 10 days later, so he whooped someone's ass, submitted them. Then 10 days later, he fought again. Then a few months later, he got that knockout. And then, there was some hiccups in his career, a couple weight issues and blah, blah, blah. But the Gilbert Burns fight is what I want to cover the most, because if you see the Gilbert Burns fight, from round one, it was entertaining because Gilbert Burns couldn't get taken down. He wouldn't allow himself to get taken down. He had the skills, and he drilled to make sure that doesn't happen. And even though he did go down, he got back up. And just go watch that fight, and you'll see that if you force Khamzat to have to fight, we get a flipping good, entertaining fight. But why would you take that route if you don't have to? If you're look at it from a personal standpoint, if you've trained for years and months on end to become the UFC champion, and somebody tells you there's route A, which is very easy, or route B, which is a little bit more difficult, but you can get the job done, but you might not get it. You might not get the job done. What route would you take? Anybody's going to go down route A. Anybody's going to go down the route where it's the easiest to get the job done. Well, it doesn't matter about us fans when it comes down to certain things, because when it's time to entertain the fans, he has. When it's time to get the job done, sometimes it's just like, remember when AJ fought Ruiz the second time? Everyone was like, oh, he kind of he danced around him. He just had to get the job done. And Dricus made it easy for Khamzat to get the job done. I would have gone down the same route. And if you understand wrestling, if you understand MMA, what we saw over the weekend was fantastic. I can't lie to you, to take a man who's so physical and ragdoll him. You've got to remember, Dricus was the champion. He's beat so many names: Israel, Robert Whittaker, and he's got some big names on his resume. To get ragdolled and to get completely dominated from start to finish. I got the stats up here, yeah. I just want to go over them. So the total strikes from du Plessis was 68. 45 of those landed, and to be fair, it was probably in the fifth because he was on the floor most of the time, other than the fifth. But from Khamzat, 567 was thrown and 529 landed. Now, obviously, they wasn't fantastic heavy shots. A lot of the time, they was in the crucifix, because that's what happened to Dricus. He got basically crucifixed the whole flipping fight. He got dominated. There was 17 attempts at taking him down, and 12 of them were successful, right? It's not so much the takedowns that the problem was. It's the fact that he couldn't get up. And that just goes to show you that there's massive holes in his game. And I think that's a good thing. If you want a good champion, if you want to get the best out of these fighters, they have to get exposed. The weaknesses have to get exposed, because Dricus isn't the kind of guy to just take this laying down. He's going to go away and he's going to train and he's going to come back. And then you'll get the fight that we was probably expecting to get, because Khamzat won't be able to just walk through him. But you can't blame Khamzat for giving you a wrestling match per se if it's the easiest route to victory, and he's getting no pushback. He was getting no pushback. It was a cakewalk. It was easy for him. And you can't blame him for taking that route. But he's not boring. Khamzat is not boring. You can go watch his career from start to finish in the UFC, and you tell me when it was boring. Where? When? Not when he fought Kevin Holland. I don't care about it. He just went out there and just straight away just dominated him. That's not boring. It's high level wrestling in MMA. That's what I like to see. I like to see that. I don't always want to see striking, even though it's my favorite. I love strikers. I think the strikers are the most entertaining part of the sport, but that's not why I watch MMA. Otherwise, I'll just watch boxing or I'll just watch kickboxing. The reason I watch MMA is because I want to know what a man is capable of all round. You know, when someone takes that to the highest level, what does it look like? And Khamzat is that. It's the same with Khabib, and it's the same with Islam. It's the same with all these great wrestlers, right? You know, when, for example, when the Conor McGregor and Khabib fight was happening, obviously Khabib, there was parts where they were standing up. But where did he really win the fight? He won that fight wrestling, because Conor doesn't have the answers for it. And I love to see it. I love to see that get exposed, because Conor is clearly the better striker, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can be the better striker. But this is MMA. That's the whole point. So, like, I don't get where the fans are coming from when they start talking this shit about, oh, it's not entertaining. So what if let's just say Khamzat decided to stand up. He one round he's dominating, second round he's dominating, all on the ground, and he said, I'm going to stand up, and gets knocked out. It will be you guys that were saying, Khamzat, he should have just took it straight to the ground. Even, you know, the MMA guru, I was watching his thing, and even he said it was, I know he's a Dricus du Plessis fan, but even he said it's going to be a boring fight. It's like, what are you on about? What are you watching this sport for then, if you don't want to see what these guys are really capable of? Because I think Khamzat showed us that if you've got holes in your game when it comes to wrestling, you're not on no level really. Because if a high level wrestler comes in here, he's gonna fuck you up like you're nothing, and that's what happened. He got exposed, and that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. You're gonna get the best out of Dricus du Plessis now. Otherwise, if he didn't get that pushback, eventually somebody else would have done that to him. Somebody else would have come along and just out-wrestled him and choked him out. I would have liked to see Khamzat try and finish the fight more, but I also think that because Dricus was so negative on the ground, he just stayed safe. So because he wasn't taking no risk to get up, he just stayed safe. And if you do jiu-jitsu, you understand that sometimes when you're with someone who's just trying to stay safe, it kind of stalemates everything. So you just have to do what you can. And that's exactly what happened. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think Khamzat's going to be a great champion. I think we're going to get some great fights out of him. I don't think they're going to be boring at all. I think a lot of the fights moving forward are going to be entertaining, and I look forward to seeing what he does. I think you guys need to learn to shut your mouths when it comes down to that stuff, or just don't watch it. Like Mighty Ma said, just don't watch the sport. If you don't want to see wrestling, don't watch MMA. It's one main part of the sport, man. It's like, if you haven't got that, everyone's going to do that to you. Everyone's going to do that to you. And it's Dricus du Plessis' fault for not having that whole field. They were so arrogant and naive. Even his coach, they really thought that they was talking about they're going to wrestle Khamzat. We're going to go into his game. You idiots. No disrespect, but you're idiots, because you clearly haven't got that. You clearly haven't. As much as I rate Dricus du Plessis for what he's done, I'm not his biggest fan, but I rate him for what he's done. But he's clearly got big holes that he needs to go away and fill, and then come back, and we're going to see the best out of him. And that's my opinion on the matter. Anyway, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It's been your boy, Just K. I'm out. Peace.